We planting seeds in the streets where the hearts is cold, where the young ones bleed, where the truth ain't told, where the pain run deep and the dreams get stole. We bring light to the block, the righteous seed will grow. From boys to kings, from girls to queens. No more suffering in our sleep, it's just a righteous dream. We speak light in the mist where the darkness unfold, healing our youth, hoping y'all could save their soul. The YNs, they walking around with a pole in their book bag. Heart so cold, they end up with a toe tag. No pops, just a Glock and the pain in their jeans. Mama be working double, missing all of their dreams. So the block, they raise them up in a predator way, where the love is getting taxed and the trust don't pay. The OGs, they put some trauma like it's part of the code. Now they sleep with a pole, feeling safe on the road. I walk around with the word, exposed the thief in the night, speaking life to the broken, trying to bring them to light. Told the shorties on the block, don't let the trauma define you. Yahweh see your scars through the fire, refine you. We planting seeds in the streets where the hearts is cold, where the young ones bleed, where the truth ain't told, where the pain run deep and the dreams get stole. We bring light to the block, the righteous seed will grow. From boys to kings, from girls to queens. No more suffering in our sleep, it's just a righteous dream. We speak light in the mist where the darkness unfold, healing our youth, hoping y'all could save their soul. I told her, bro, you're a king.
Real, we is in the building. BMore4Real, man. Keep it locked with us each and every single Wednesday. Y'all already know what's up. This the realest conversation on the net. Rated R for reality, man. Y'all already know what's up. It's BMore4Real. It's BMore4Real. We are back in the building with another episode. We got a special one for you. Stay tuned, man. We got brother Yahu Blackwell, man. A powerful powerhouse of a man. Blessing you guys with the set. I just want to say real quick, man, before we get into everything, man. I know it's been a couple weeks, and to be honest, you know, it's a struggle trying to provide and everything for the show. So if you could leave your like, if you haven't already, subscribe. This stuff helps us grow. This helps us continue to make content that you guys continue to watch. So again, we appreciate our viewers. We appreciate our subscribers. It is BMore4Real, the realest conversation anywhere on the internet. Let's go ahead right into a commercial. Let's run one quick commercial, and then we're gonna jump right back into it. Let's go ahead and run that clip.
Speaking of teas, man, I was looking at that Lamar. So we got a comment from Barbie.
I mean, it was awesome. Okay.
Coming from a Cowboy fan, the media comments, the contract drama. I'm just tired of it, Jerry. You bought the team in '89 for 140. What they worth now? 12.8 billion. And you mean to tell me you can't get a deal done with Michael Parsons? Talking about a handshake.
Michael coming to Baltimore.
Agents.
One thing that's very pivotal to the game that's kind of been forgotten about, but they're trying to bring it back. The midi.
Yeah.
You either dunking or you shooting a three, right? But you forget having a mid-range. It's very intricate to the game.
You see, they doing that thing. They driving trucks, man. They ain't afraid of nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I watch. And women just, they take care of stuff. Yeah. I spend some time trash stuff. You know what I'm saying? We trash the truck.
Bronze against brains.
Yeah. So, women are, nowadays in age, man, they're allowing the women to do a lot. That's great.
So if I'm making $80 million a year and you making $10 million a year, I'm kind of reluctant to listen to what you got to say.
Be More Sports Talk. The best damn talk show on the internet. Only on the Be More Pod Network.
Okay. All right. As you can see, man, first of all, shout out to the Monday Night Sports Show, which was on yesterday, man. Awesome show. The greatest sports show. It is the best damn sports show on the internet. Make sure y'all check out the sports show on Monday nights. Sitting right here to my right, man, I have a powerful gentleman by the name of Jeroboam Yani Armand Blackwell. See, this guy is a wonderful guy. I appreciate him for joining the set. Let me know if I said your name right. Was that correct?
That was good. Yeah, that was good.
I tried. I gave it my best shot, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I appreciate you for joining the set, man. How are you this week?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for having me, brother.
Absolutely. For those that don't know Yahu Blackwell, we're just gonna go ahead and we're just gonna run this quick clip. We're gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna get right into it.
Another day at the office.
Another day in the office, man. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah, Kum A Yahuwah, Veyafutsu, Oyavehaka, Veyanusu, Misaneaka, Mipaneaka. You know, I made her some promises before she passed, and I plan on making good on them. But my mother was everything, you know. She was my mother and my father. You know, my father, you know, he wasn't around at all. He was addicted to drugs. So she was mom and dad. So when she died, you know, both my parents died. You know, she was everything. You know?
How's everybody doing? I'm advocating for conservative values in the state of Maryland. My name is Yahu Blackwell. I'm a professional boxing champion. I also own a few businesses in the city. My great-great-grandfather, he was a slave in Northumberland County, Virginia. He was freed by a Republican. So he made his way to Baltimore, enlisted in the Civil War, and he served on the Revenue Cutter Tiger. So it's my turn. And you know, my great-great-grandfather, he did his part. And so it's my turn to continue on his legacy and to help save Maryland and push Maryland towards more conservative values. So I'm running at State Senate. This is my running mate, Glenn. And we're going to Annapolis. I'm gonna kick Carl's. Yeah, he don't know it. I'm used to kicking butts and taking names, so I'm gonna give him all he's looking for. And I just want to thank y'all for having me, and I'm asking you guys to support us. And you know, like Glenn said, our children is counting on it. Thank you.
Okay, so y'all look, y'all got a dose. That's just a dose. That's just a glimpse. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and clap it up for my brother Yahu Blackwell. Brother Yahu Blackwell has blessed us that he's here live and living color with us today. Now I want to get into this because we were talking about it. We seen a video, The Fruit of Sandra.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little about that. The Fruit of Sandra.
Oh man, that was my mother, man. She passed in 2015.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. It was tragic too, man. She died from medical malpractice. So she had got pneumonia. She just wasn't feeling well at work. She worked at Northwest Hospital.
Okay.
And you know, her coworkers was like, "Hey, man, you know, just go get checked out." She went and got checked out, found out she had a little bit of fluid on her lungs. And it was supposed to be something simple. They were just supposed to just remove the fluid, put on antibiotics, you know, the whole pneumonia thing.
Right.
But they ended up tearing her lung, and then they ended up tearing the artery in her throat. And it was just a snowball effect from there. So man.
So was you able to sue them, get any recovery from that?
Nah, man, I tried, man. I tried. Like that was, you know, that was my first go-to. I was like, man, I got to get them. But they pretty much covered their butts, man. They, you know, I don't even think my mother read the paperwork. I just think that, you know, she just trusted the doctors, and
trusted the hospital, and they was like, sign here, 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 and here.
And they let her down.
And yeah, man. So
and they let the family down, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I actually been through something similar. My mom actually, she died from COVID.
I'm sorry.
She's the only person I know that died from COVID as well, too. It took me for a storm.
Yeah.
But she died in Sinai Hospital, which is the same hospital my father died in.
Wow.
So my mom died in 2022. My father died in 2013. And I felt like it was a lot of medical malpractice, especially with my dad, because he had a stroke. He died of asphyxiation on medicine that they gave him. He choked on it and died. But the thing is, they gave it to him twice, and he choked on it the prior 2 times. They was able to stop him from choking.
Right.
But the 3rd time, they were too late, and and he passed. And when we went to go sue the hospital, of course, Sinai is Jewish. They are all the lawyers and all that stuff. So they had all their ducks in a row, and we couldn't get any money from them, no recovery.
Same here.
And so that's what it was. But I'm sorry to hear about that, man.
Same to you, brother. Same to you.
But I would say it probably did have a large impact on who you are. It says you're the first Usman. Am I saying that right?
Osuman Luma.
Osuman Luma, right? How you pronounce it? I'm sorry.
Osuman Luma.
Osuman Luma. So right now we're talking to a king. I don't know if that's the proper name, but Brother Yahu Blackwell is indeed a king in Ghana, right?
I am.
Correct. Can you explain that a little? Is the king the correct title?
Yeah, so Luma means authority of or ruler of.
Okay.
Osu is the state or the province.
Okay.
And Man means people. So when they say Osuman Luma, it means the ruler of the Osu people.
Okay.
So my ancestry is from Osu.
Okay.
So my family was purchased by Lord Joseph Blackwell. This was like in 1610, I believe.
Okay.
And he purchased them from the Osu slave castle. That's in Accra, Ghana. And he enslaved them in Northumberland County, Virginia.
Okay.
There's a plantation there called the Anchorage Plantation. Or they call it the Walnut Lodge as well. You see either or the name is the same place. And so that's where my ancestors were housed. They were slaves there up until 1864.
Okay.
So my great-great-grandfather was Royston Austin Blackwell. He was freed by I was telling the story, a Union Republican general.
Okay.
His name was Hugh Judson Kilpatrick.
Okay.
And he led the Kill Cavalry Union raid. He raided Northumberland County. My great-great-grandfather ended up leaving with him, and he rode a horse to Baltimore, and he enlisted in the Civil War. He had changed his name from Royston to Austin because bounty hunters was looking for him.
Okay.
They was trying to recapture him. So he renamed himself Austin. He enlisted in the war, and he served for the North.
Okay, and that's very interesting because you are a Republican.
I'm Republican.
And so your Republican roots actually come from the Kilpatrick family, who actually helped free you guys from slavery.
Facts.
Wow,
Facts.
that's a wonderful, interesting story, man.
Crazy,
that's a
right?
wonderful, interesting story.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, like, your roots, they're so deep. You go back to Africa. I understand. I'm under the understanding that you are the first born of the diaspora. People that don't know what if you don't, I don't want to talk fancy. I don't want to talk over top of nobody here. But the diaspora is just part of the people that were a part of the slave trade. It's just a fancy name for people that was a part of the slave trade. But you're the first person that was born outside of America that's king of the Osu people. Correct?
Facts.
Man, that's a major accomplishment, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and clap it up
Thank you,
for you,
man.
man.
Thank you.
Seriously, we got a king on the set, y'all. Real live king on the set.
Yes.
Seriously,
Yeah.
That's wonderful, man. You have rich, powerful ancestry.
Thank you.
I want to continue on with this, just to build a rapport with the people in case they don't know you, even though you're a Baltimore legend.
Yeah.
But so we know that you're a Republican, but you also used to box, right? Heavyweight and cruiserweight professionally, right? 15-0.
Yeah, well, not 18-1.
18-1.
18-1. I did the 15-0 was in a IBL tournament.
Okay.
And I did 4 more bouts after that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And you were the number 1 ranking. You were first in the ranking with the WBC, WBA, and the WBO for the heavyweight regional championship.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about your boxing history.
Hey man, you know what? I'm still looking to get those titles, man. I'm thinking about, competing for them next year.
Okay.
Yeah. So around the time that I got ranked, COVID came, and then that kind of shut a lot of stuff down. And then after that, I was just dealing with all the business stuff and readers and Annie Ann's and all of that stuff. So I just haven't, dialed in on it. But I still keep in contact with the WBC, WBA.
For real?
They always ask me all the time, like, hey, man, you know.
So you in your late 30s, though, right?
I'm in my late 30s.
But you still got it, though.
I still got it.
You still training everything?
I train every day.
Well, I know you told me you're going to leave the gym.
Yeah, I'm going to the gym after this. Yeah.
Man, you still got it.
Yeah, I still got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it says you fought 184 amateur fights with a record of 156-28. Like, you don't take too many losses.
Yeah, man.
Losing is something you're not used to, huh?
And what's crazy is in the amateurs, I probably shouldn't have lost those bouts, but in the amateurs, it's a point system. So it's about how many times the guy touch you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when even as an amateur, I was fighting like a professional. So, you know, I was looking at the big punches. You know what I mean? I was trying to land the more telling shots.
Right.
So the guys that did beat me, it was because they just threw more punches, and that's just how the point system works in the amateurs.
Yeah, I got an issue with that too, in the judges, and even in boxing, but the point system is worse.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know which one is worse, actually. Really, pro or the amateur, but judging has to be discussed. We have a few comments, man. I appreciate all of our viewers, man. I definitely appreciate all the viewers. We just gonna start from the top. My brother Craig, he said, "Okay, bringing that smoke on the cash." You already know. Send an icon. He said, "Welcome back, family." Appreciate you, sending an icon. That's my brother. By the way, appreciate the cards, man. These cards, big brother Eric, special, man. Appreciate them. Keon Hardy, my brother, he said, "What's up, bro? Welcome back. I definitely appreciate you." And send an icon, said, "A man of many hats." That's awesome. Also, Misty Blues, shout out to Misty Blues. That's Shameless. She on the Shameless crew. Shout out Rel. She says, by the way, shout out Shameless, and check them out on this station. She says, "Wow, I love this." She got the hand claps. She definitely said sorry for the loss, and she sent our condolences. BMore4Real said that's cool. And by the way, we in BMore4Real Studios. If y'all can't tell, we in BMore4Real Studios, the best studio in Baltimore, in the state of Maryland, period, and on the East Coast at that. Might be in the Northern Hemisphere. Like, this is the best podcast studio. And by the way, if you guys even think about, you know, if you want the space and all this stuff, this space is rentable. You don't have to dream about it. You don't have to think about it. You can absolutely use this space. There's a number of networks you can get to. It's on Peerspace, everything. But make sure if you want to use the studios, we are here for you. We have a lot of things going on, but we're more than happy to service the public in any capacity that we can. Now, moving on. Let's get into your campaign.
Sure.
You're running for the 8th District.
8th District.
Senator, right?
Yes.
And this is real important. I think the 8th District is that the Rosedale area?
That's Rosedale. Yep.
Okay.
That's Rosedale. That's a little bit of Towson, Parkville, some White Marsh.
Okay.
Yeah, so the 8th District's pretty big.
So like East Baltimore County.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the 8th District is the incumbent is Carl Jackson.
Carl Jackson.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's get it, man.
Let's get into it because this is the important part. And I often talk on my show about needing politicians. I'm under the impression that we do need more politicians, especially as Black people. I hate to bring up the race card. I'm not trying to play the race card, but these are my sentiments. If we didn't have Black policemen, Black judges, and other politicians, then we will be even further down on the scrutiny and on the totem pole because of, you know, obviously being outnumbered in those areas. So yes, we need doctors, like you were saying, the malpractice with your mom and my dad. This is the reason why we need our people in those positions. You happen to be one of those people that's on the front lines fighting. And first and foremost, I appreciate you for that. But tell us a little bit about the 8th District and your campaign.
Yeah, so I'm running for the 8th District. I'm running for state senate. And surprisingly, a victory, I'll be the first, you know, not like you said, not to bring up the whole race thing, but I will be the first Black elected senator of District 8 ever in the history of Maryland.
Ever. Wow.
Ever. Carl was appointed.
Okay.
So he's not considered the first elected senator.
Gotcha.
But you know, once I defeat him in the election, then I'll be the first, you know, African American elected senator of District 8.
Absolutely.
In the history of the entire state.
I like how you put that. Once you defeat him, and it's a thought for me because you are a Republican. You're in the Republican Party, and we know and we understand why you're a part of the Republican Party. But 90% of Black people are actually Democrats. So how do you even get across to our own people as far as your campaign?
Yeah, I just let them know, like, the problems that we face are pretty much bipartisan. It's not about red or blue. My policies benefit all Marylanders. I'm a Republican because I wouldn't even exist right now. I wouldn't even be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for the Republican Party. So, I have to pay homage to that.
Okay.
But and I have conservative values as well.
Okay.
But everything that I'm, putting in my platform, it benefits all of Maryland.
Okay. Oh, we got a question here in the
Sure.
chat. She said, do you think the Republicans of today are the same as when your family became Republican?
That's a great question. Well, what you have is different kind of Republicans. So, and then you got Democrats too who kind of code switch and became Republicans, but still had Democratic values. So, it all depends. But I represent the Republican Party that Frederick Douglass represented.
Okay. Leah Songbird, she commented. She said, "Looking sharp, Danny." Oh, I appreciate you, sis. Check out Songbird. Shameless in the chat. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
You already know. Check out Shameless on the Tuesdays. But okay, so the Republicans, right, and the Democrats, and 90% Black people are Democrat.
Facts.
Now, with that being said, Trump is a Republican. What are your views as far as Trump and a lot of stuff that policies that he's?
I just kind of stay out of it because he's federal. You know what I mean? I'm state level.
Okay.
So, the federal government is the federal government and the state is the state, So, my concern is Marylanders. I'm just trying to figure out, the best ways to help everybody here in the state. So, what Trump do, I don't have, a horse in that race. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, we got a website, and we're going to go ahead and pull it up. His website, if you want to know all his campaign and everything that he does, it's important to read, man. They say if you want to hide information and put it in a book. So we got the website up. It's going to be Blackwell4MD.com. Blackwell4MD.com. You can see all of his policies and stuff like that. Some of which we're going to talk to tonight. But we do have that website. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was your public safety plan, because like we said, Rosedale is one of the areas, and crime has been crime riddled as of late.
Yes.
And I understand that there are policies that you do have in place as far as public safety plans. So can you explain some of the public safety plans that you have?
I think that public safety is a two-part solution. So one has to be education. And I was telling them before that crime and education shares the same bed. You know what I mean? So when I saw reports coming out, they were saying that crime was down in Maryland. And and I had argued that it wasn't. And the reason why that I said that it wasn't was because the education situation hasn't been solved. So crime and education go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
When there's poor education, there's an elevation in crime. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So in order for crime to go down, gotta attack the education department. And two, of course, public relations between law enforcement and the community. I think that's important. I just think that the community and law enforcement just has to get a better grip on the relationship with each other.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Hold that thought for a second. My brother Craig, appreciate you, bro. He said, you already know I'm about policies for sure. We'll check it out. So he's going to check out the policies, and it's important. He's definitely a reader. He might can do a few things for you in your campaign too.
Awesome,
that's my brother.
I would love to. I would love to, brother. I would love to.
But as far as the crime plan goes, like there's a lot of distrust that we have in politicians, period. And I was explaining this. I explain this on my show a lot, and I talk about that. It seems like a lot of politicians can be brought out.
Facts.
And they no longer have public relations with people. I mean, they have their PR team, but a personal public relationship with the people, especially the people in your district or the people that you're serving and people in your state or your city.
Facts.
A lot of the politicians have lost touch.
1000%.
And I think that's a lot of the reason why a lot of Black people choose not to vote, because they don't think. And from what we've seen, not from what we think, but what we can see and observe, is that our voice is not even going to be heard either way. When we vote for these politicians, they're going to put us in predicaments that we didn't even vote for. These not even the policies that you ran on. So now you're switching up on us. It's a lot of PTSD with that. So how do you bridge the gap between the public relations, especially between the public and the police, in terms of public safety?
Yeah, so I plan on having a lot of community events between the public and the law enforcement. These events is actually going to start next year.
Okay.
And we're going to get down to the nitty gritty of it all. And I'm definitely going to build that trust back between the public and law enforcement. You know, we're going to do some strong dialogue, and you know, I got some great stuff in place so that the people understand the law enforcement perspectives better, and the law enforcement understands the people's perspective better.
Okay.
We're going to find some middle ground there so that we can start developing a better relationship with each other. As far as the trust in as me as a politician, I always tell people I'm not even really a politician. You know, I'm a servant of the people. So I'm not brought out by the party. I'm not owned by the party. Even though I represent conservative values and I'm a Republican, I'm not owned by the party.
Okay.
So you know, that's
good to know.
Yeah.
That's great to know.
Yeah. So everything that I champion, you know, I'll be executing, you know, without any influence from any third parties.
Absolutely. We have another question here. I'm trying to keep up with the chat, man. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the viewers and subscribers. Spam that chat. Let us know the questions while we got them here, because it's a very powerful guy that's going to be in a powerful position very soon. She said any people told the lines between the two parties. Most people aren't far left or right, but it seems that the only group that's in office is either right or far left. So what are your thoughts on that? I think some people are right, far left. There's no real in between. To me, I'm gonna say personally that I personally truly believe that a lot of Democrats and Republicans, they do a lot of bipartisan things, and they're two wings on the same bird.
Right.
They, at the end of the day, they're making pretty much the same policies. So what are your thoughts on that? She's thinking that people are either far right or left, no in between. What are your thoughts as far as that?
You know, I'm just trying to do what's in, you know, the best interest of the people. So if I got to work across the line to get stuff done, I'm down to do it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, like I was telling you earlier, you know, my job is just to communicate with the people, figure out what the need is, and get that thing done. So if that requires me to create bipartisan legislation, I will. If I got to work across the line to get these things done so that Marylanders are thriving, I will.
Okay.
So you know, even as a Republican, if I got to work with the Democrats to get something done, I'll work with the Democrats to get it done. Just as long as if Maryland is thriving, that's the entire goal of my administration.
Is to make sure that Maryland thrives.
Yeah.
Okay, so part of your plans, and it's on the website. By the way, make sure y'all go ahead and check out that website. Brother Yahu Blackwell, he's not just. And now I was saying your public relations. You actually own businesses in the community as well, right?
Yep.
You want to share briefly a little bit about that?
Yeah, I own Rita's Italian Ice, and this is kind of connected to my mother. I built Rita's because when she died, the day she died, I had, you know, I said, "Ma, is there anything I can give you to make you comfortable?" And she said, "I wish I had some Rita's right now." And she literally died maybe 2 minutes after that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the motivation for Rita's.
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna build a store. So I applied for Rita's. They denied me maybe like 5 times total. Because you know I was new to business. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And it was all self-taught. It was all trial and error. And they denied me 5 times. But each time they denied me, I just kept like tightening up, getting better and better, understanding the business model and franchising and all of that great stuff. And then finally I got approved, and I got that store built for her, man. So she was the motivation behind the Rita's location.
Okay, and it is in Baltimore, right?
It's in Baltimore, yep.
Okay, and you have other stores that you own too, right?
Yeah. Building Annie Ann's Pretzels. Annie Ann's Pretzels.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was just, man, that was just being fat, man. I was just like, man, I love a good Annie Ann's pretzel. And then so I, you know, finally I was like, you know what? Let me.
And not only that, but you have a energy drink.
Energy drink. Yeah.
Is it already out or is it coming out?
It's in production right now.
It's still in production.
It's in production right now.
Okay.
So we do the first launch maybe like right after the holidays.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Send us a case here
so
we can put it up here on the table, man.
Official,
send us a
man.
case here.
It's official, bro. It's better than a Celsius. It's way better than a Celsius.
What about Red Bull?
It's better than Red Bull.
It's better than Red Bull. Okay.
So I got good quality stuff in there, man, and stuff that just help you with mental clarity and your focus on top of the energy. Yeah, man, it's a good product. It's a good product.
Absolutely, and I believe you too. So back to the policies, back to the plans and procedures. One of those policies that you had up there was a family plan, which I found interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You have a plan for families.
Yeah.
Now, what first of all, what do you see a family as, and then what is your goal for that said family?
Yes,
in the state of Maryland.
Because I felt like not to bash the left too much, but it was just a lot of promotion of like stuff that was breaking up families. They were just promoting real heavy on the whole abortion thing, and then promoting just a lot of stuff that was kind of anti-family in my opinion. And I was like, man, we got to start promoting, incentives for people that are staying together, and for people that are, the dads out here that is trying to take care of their children, the moms out here that are trying to take care of their children and their families. So I'm going to be working on legislation that will make that burden easier on them, for the people that are trying to, stay as a family unit.
Okay. How important is family, I guess, to your whole plan?
Oh man, family is everything, brother. Family is everything, and I'm trying to make that popular again. You know what I mean? That it's okay to stay together and figure it out. You know what I mean? And,
Absolutely.
And so I'm just trying to make it easier on dads, make it easier on moms. Help them be able to access more resources. To take care of their children and lighten their loads. Because it's hard out here, man. Hard out here. So. And then even down to you got some men that's carrying a household. You know what I mean? They might be taking care of their wife and children off of one salary.
Right.
So I'm gonna be putting legislation in place for that as well, so that he can access resources that'll make things easier on that household as well. So I'm gonna just create things that just empower the family dynamic. You know what I mean? And just help moms and dads. Be able to provide better for the house and for the kids and all that great stuff.
Absolutely. We'll get right back to that. Sand dropped in the comment. Oh no, excuse me. This was Misty Blues. I'm sorry. This is Route. She says, which readers? We need a location. They trying to support you, man.
Yeah.
Which readers?
I'm at the Rotunda, man.
At the Rotunda?
I'm at the Rotunda.
Yeah, I got my therapist at the Rotunda.
Oh, okay, yeah,
right
yeah.
there next to the Comcast.
Yeah, that's me, man. That's me. Yep. I'm at the Rotunda.
Oh, all right. That's cool, man. So where's your Auntie Anne's? So we can support that.
That's in Fed Hill.
Is in Fed Hill?
That's in Fed Hill.
Okay.
That's next to Watershed.
Okay. Yep. That's awesome.
Yep.
Also, Craig Addison, we just had another comment come in. He said your thoughts on reparations. Your thoughts on reparations from Maryland and the current bills in the House of Senate.
Man, it's been a lot of back and forth about the whole reparations topic. I know the Democrats have been talking about it in Annapolis, and man, I have no idea how that's going to play out. So I've just been watching it closely and just seeing how that's going to go. But I don't know if they'll get it passed.
Well, since we went there too, I guess it's important to realize the fact, because I did see Westmore, and Westmore, I have mixed emotions about Westmore. Whether I like them or not, I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that one of the things that was brought up was reparations, and they said that Westmore, well, by they, I mean the media, and this is why we have a podcast, by the way, so we can bring you the truth, the real media, because they put their spin on stuff for clickbait for whatever reason, other than telling the truth. So they got to put their little spill on it. Here, we're going to tell you the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me, Yah. But what I'm going to say is that they said he denied reparations, but really he denied the study of reparations, which I do agree with, because there's no studying that needs to be done when we're actually living the consequences of slavery. So we don't need a study on that. If we want to study that, look no further than the lives of Black people today. Look at where we are on the totem pole as far as businesses and other things like that. So with that being said, I'm gonna say this, and I brought this up on the show plenty of times. See, it seems like Black people are overrepresented in the negative areas and underrepresented in the positive areas. And what I mean by that is, okay, they say, Black people are 13-14% of U.S. populations, but we're 40-45% of total homicides, 60% of all violent crimes in America. And it paints this picture that Black people, especially Black males, are extremely violent. The only thing is that when it comes to businesses, Black people are less than 2% of owned businesses in America. We own less than 2% of the land in America. We are less than especially black males are less than 2% of teachers, period.
Facts.
So we don't have a lot of black male teachers in the neighborhood.
Facts.
How does your plan combat some of these numbers that we have shown, especially crime and education?
Man, I'm so glad you brought this up. This is my baby right here, man. So yeah, brother. So I'm champion out of all of my policies. My baby is education. It's education, even in Osu, even back in Ghana.
Okay.
Education, because I control the education system there. So the same plan that I'm implementing there, I'm trying to implement it here in Maryland.
Okay.
So what I plan on doing, I'm gonna create legislation that's going to change all of, with the exception of some, but pretty much all. I'm gonna change the entire high school curriculum.
Okay.
I'm completely scrapping what's there now.
Okay.
And I'm going to transform the high school curriculum into full-on trade schools.
Okay.
So what will happen is 9th grade will be your standard, math, science, language, all that great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into 10th grade, the students will then start coming into trade skills.
Right.
So from high school, they'll be able to get CDLs, HVAC, plumbing, electrician, barber, hairdresser, etc. And I'm also adding credit development into high school.
Nice.
Credit development into high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm adding that. I'm adding first time home buying into high school. And I'm adding business startup into high school. So coming out of the 12th grade.
So basically a whole bunch of financial literacy classes.
Correct.
Really.
Correct.
And along with skills training.
Okay. So, and then of course you're going to have the people that want to be doctors, lawyers, etc. They're going to have to further their education.
Right.
But for for the masses, for the general public, most of the students, they're going to be coming out already with a high school diploma, 800 credit score, business resources, and a skilled trade. Coming out of high school. So 17, 18 years old, they already pretty much ready for the workforce. And this is going to put them, and then from there, you're going to start seeing more businesses being created. All that, it's going to boom Maryland's economy.
Okay.
Because now you got more
productive citizens.
Right. You got more productive citizens.
Going into the environment.
Right. Which is also going to lower crime.
Right.
And then the economy is going to shoot up. And then people are going to start scaling up from their trade. So you might have a 12th grader. He might start out as a plumber coming out, but by the time he's 23, he has his own plumbing company now. And then you once this is start going on statewide, business is going to be booming. It's going to be a lot of more black business owners. Economy, the state is going to be doing extremely well, right, from an economic standpoint.
Absolutely. I hate to inject my personal thoughts into a lot of things, but I will say this because my old co-host, Uncle Wayne. Shout out Uncle Wayne, by the way. That's my guy.
Shout out Uncle Wayne.
He stayed behind the scene. He was running for mayor of Maryland.
Nice. Okay.
Mayor of Baltimore City. He came 5th in voting, but that was one of his main things was trade, the electrical, engineering, the plumbing, roofing, and all of that stuff. Getting people skills and trades, which I absolutely agree with. Which is one of the things that maybe Brandon Scott can work on and stuff like that. But we have a comment saying, keep spamming comments, by the way. I appreciate it. Hold on. Before we go, she said, San said, facts, Danny. The Misty Blues, she said, bet. I was just there talking about the Rotunda, I believe. And then she says, that's how it used to be. Mervo trade, Carver trade, Dunbar College, prep, and trade. So that's how it used to be with the trades. And so, like I said, I hate to inject a lot of my feelings and emotions, but some things has to be said, which is why I have this platform. Because it seems like what we are invested in as a state, as a city, as a community is counterproductive to where we want the city to go. And so I said all of that to say that, trades and all of that is essential to the economy. Without teaching the trades, then we have a generation of unskilled workers. And in this day and age, we need more skills than ever, but we don't see people taking the trades. That's why the money that they're paying people for trades is getting astronomical. Now a lot of these young kids want to be social media influencers and things like that, which that is a skill too. By the way, it is a skill, but it's for certain people. Like if everybody wanted to do social media, who's going to even make the internet? Who's going to provide the electrical service that's going to keep power to you being on video? So those are the behind the scene things that we need, and it's important to our economy and also the city because there's also a preschool and poverty to prison pipeline. So chances are, if you're poorly educated and if you are poor below the poverty margin, then you are more likely to commit a crime, and you are extremely more likely to commit a felonious crime. And see, right now we're investing. It seems like we're investing in jails and all that stuff, and not so much the rec centers. What I will say about Mayor Brandon Scott in Baltimore City, he has been building rec centers. That's my guy. I like him. But also it seems like he can be bought out. I don't like his deal with Exelon. Like I was discussing, Exelon had put over $1 million into his campaign. So do I think that he will run again and stuff like that? Absolutely. I think Brandon Scott, but I don't like the idea of a politician being bought out. This is the reason why our BG&E rates is going up sky high. And we can't do nothing about it because he's bought out by Exelon. Now, I'm not saying he's all bad because I actually like Brandon Scott. And while I spoke bad on him, I will say this. I seen him one day coming out of the cleaners and I wanted to speak to him and his security stopped me like, nah. You can't do that. And Brandon Scott, like, no, let him talk. I'll sit there and talk to him. He sat there and had a conversation with me for like 15, 20 minutes. Right there on the side of the road. So he is a good down-to-earth person, down-to-earth guy. I know he's from the city, went to school. I know he's from Baltimore. But we need more people and we need more politicians that aren't bought out. So how can we ensure that you won't be that person and you can't be bought out by other vendors?
Oh yeah, 1000%, man. I plan on staying, independent. So like I was saying earlier, like even though I'm a Republican and a part of the Republican Party, I'm not owned by the party. You know what I mean? I'm completely a separate entity from the party.
Okay.
So I have not accepted any money from the party, won't accept any money from the party, and it always stay that way. I was speaking to the French African community maybe about a few days ago, and I was just explaining to them too. I'm going to always be accessible. I'm always going to be boots on the ground. I'm not going to be that guy that's like, once he's in office, now you can't get a hold of him. So I'm always be accessible. I'm always be able to be seen, able to be found, able to be spoken to. Just like you said with Brandon, because I want to hear what the people have to say. Like I was saying earlier, like, public servant is not a public servant if you're not talking to the public. So I'm always going to have my ear to the community. I need to know what's going on. I want people to communicate with me. And yeah, man, my ink pen can't be bought. I'm going to write the legislation that's going to benefit Maryland. And that's going to be that.
Absolutely.
That's going to be that.
That sounds wonderful. Misty Blues, she said, great plan. Our children need this now. We absolutely do. And along with that, you, like I was saying about being bought out and stuff like that, I'm not a negative Nancy, but I will play devil's advocate. How can we be ensured, because you are a king in Africa and Ghana, and more specifically, so how are we sure that your duties and responsibilities as being king and of the OSU, how can we ensure that won't conflict and bombard you with your job as senator in Maryland?
That's a great question. Luckily, it's enough technology where I'm able to just communicate back to OSU with what they need to, what needs to happen. So normally the way I handle things at OSU is the attorneys will contact me. So OSU has their own set of attorneys. They'll contact me and let me know what's going on, and I'll just kind of make my decision on it, and they just carry it out. But they're more boots on the ground there. They know I can't be there all the time. But so it won't interfere with what I'm doing here in Maryland. I'm actually here, boots on the ground, in the flesh. So and they support me, what I'm doing, and running for Maryland. They have sent prayers up for me to win the Senate. So forth. Yeah, so so they backing me 100%. And but yeah, the two won't clash into each other.
Absolutely. I like that. Let's get further into another one of your plans that we can check out on the website, by the way, which is Blackwell4MD.com. Again, that's Blackwell4MD.com. Go ahead and check out his policies, procedures, and plans on his website. But another thing that caught my attention was the sexualization of children in schools.
Yes.
So that was a deep one for me. I said I never really heard of a politician expressing interest in changing sexualization in schools. Please explain your policies and procedures on that.
Yeah, aside from the trades and all of that stuff, I'm also going to remove, sexual material from the grade schools. So, I just think we're supposed to protect our children's innocence. I've seen some of the material that's out there, and it just shouldn't be in grade school. These are children. You know what I mean? And when I was their age, I was trying to be Spider-Man and Batman.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I was trying to be the next Power Ranger. So I just want to protect our children's innocence, and I feel as though that these are their formative years, and I feel like that shouldn't be in the curriculum. Yeah, so I'm gonna get that.
I kind of agree. It all depends on what sex education, because I believe we should be sexually educated. We should be educated on everything and all things, because knowing is just half the battle,
right?
But actually doing, but you actually have to know in order to do better.
Yeah.
So the education portion is important. It's just that the teaching them of maybe like the transgenders and the homosexuality thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, no shade at the LGBTQ community and stuff like that. I don't agree with the lifestyle, of course, but I don't believe that the agenda should be pushed on the children, especially very early. Let them children grow up and decide for themselves.
Exactly.
Oftentimes, and just like the DARE campaign, because when we were younger and we were in school, they had the DARE campaign. But what a lot of people don't know, not only was it started by Nancy and Ronald Reagan, which we know, but it actually coerced children into using drugs. It showed you what the drugs do, how to use them, what kind of what kind of high feeling that you get from these drugs.
Right.
And so for some people, it made them selective. Oh, I don't want that kind of high. I want this kind of high, because I know what I'm chasing. You know what I'm saying? So it was really counterproductive as far as like the education department and that.
Right.
Maybe you can educate people about drugs, STDs, and stuff like that, without getting too much into detail, the way as though it would have sparked the curiosity.
Facts.
So that's a delicate line to dance there, and that education thing is huge, man. It's big. It's major.
It's major.
So the sexualization of children in school was one that caught my eye, and then also the Dakara Thompson Act.
Dakara Thompson Act.
Okay.
Dakara Thompson Act. So I know immigration is like a touchy subject in Maryland. And what I was just advocating for is because I'm not against immigrants coming seeking for a better life, but I was also saying that we still need to do due diligence, and even at the very least background check people that's coming into the state.
Absolutely.
And I know, and I was what happened to Dakara was just terrible.
And that was Prince George's County, right?
I believe so. Prince George's County.
Prince George's County, Maryland. Yeah. Was she law enforcement?
No, she was
she was a regular citizen?
She was a regular citizen.
Okay.
But when I was just reading the reports, even how she died, he, from what I read, he bashed her skull and raped her and threw a body off of a bridge. And and I was just telling people, like, for him to have comfortably done it wasn't his first time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That had to have been a record of somewhere.
Right. There has to be a record somewhere of this behavior. And I was like, when we're bringing people into the state that's from a different country, we have to, at the very least, I'm not saying we got the greatest immigration laws or policies, and and I'm all for people, like I said, seeking a better life. But at the very least, we gotta at least know who's coming in, and at least just do our due diligence.
You definitely don't want to let criminals in, because it's already domestic terrorists within the borders.
Facts.
So to let other people from out of the country come in and destroy your own country is asinine. It's very counterproductive.
Yeah, and I Maryland's sensitive about it. And I'm like, again, I'm not. People want to come to the United States and to Maryland to better their life. I'm all for that, but at the same time,
Would you say Maryland is mostly liberal? Because I looked at the Senate seats, and it's like what 47. Seats.
Yeah, man.
And most of them are Democratic seats.
They're really liberal, man.
Very few Republican seats.
And I was, in examples like Dakara Thompson, and I said, look, regardless of her lifestyle, because they was trying to bash her and her lifestyle. And I said, listen, regardless of that, she would still be alive today if we had a background checked this man before we let him into our neighborhoods.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
If we'd have ran national, international background checks on him to find out what kind of individual this is that's moving into these communities,
right,
she would still be alive today.
Absolutely.
And that's just the point that I was making. So I'm going to legislate for the Dakara Thompson Act so that as people are coming into the state, they just vet it properly.
Absolutely. I really like how you think.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, the incumbent in office now called Jackson, he has policies and rules and procedures. What policies do you not like and you see you straight up challenging once you win the seat and things like that?
Man. Carl hasn't done anything, man. I mean,
Nothing?
Nothing, bro.
Carl ain't do nothing.
Nothing, man.
He said Carl ain't, and I know ain't a proper English. To me, ain't no such thing as proper English anyway. But
Carl hasn't done anything, brother. But one of the policies that I totally against, man, he voted on a policy to transition minor children with taxpayer dollars.
To give children
sex changes, correct.
Minor children
sex changes
on taxpayer dollars.
Taxpayers' dollars.
Interesting.
And he also
shame on you, Carl. I'm gonna say
shame on Carl.
I want to talk
man.
to you, Carl, though. So if you want to come on, I definitely would have loved to have you on the set, Carl, and you can explain yourself and everything like that. From what I'm hearing, I definitely disagree with that.
I definitely disagree with that. But yeah, man, he just has a ton of policies that's just garbage, and none of the stuff that he does benefits Marylanders. He overspends a lot of the tax money, and you can never get a return from the stuff that he does. The things that I'm pushing in Annapolis, like the trade schools, you get a return from that. You know what I mean? So once that money goes out, it's going to start coming back in. You know what I mean? We're going to see a return from that. The things that Carl does, you get zero return from. So, he just has a bunch of bad bills, man, and a bunch of bad policies. I even put some of them up on my website. I'm going to continue to, put them up so people are just informed of, a lot of the bad bills that he has championed.
So how does one come across? Matter of fact, before I even ask this question, let me read this comment.
Yeah.
Sorry about this. She said, I don't think we should connect that to being an immigrant because it's so many people, so many great people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Do we say the same for the immigrants that committed crimes that are from the Caucasus countries?
Wow. Hey, man, I think the law applies for everybody. So, it don't matter whether if you're from the Caucasus, you're from wherever. I just think that we just have to vet people as they coming in. And I was having a conversation with a lot of people about it, and I'm like, yo, you gotta do a background check just to get an apartment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just to get an apartment.
Right.
So I'm like, why aren't we doing background checks for people that's coming from a totally different world, totally different culture, totally different, background? Like, we don't know what this guy was into prior to coming here. He could be a rapist.
And mostly all countries, especially first world countries, they have records of that.
Yeah. So I'm like,
detailed records.
Yeah. And then, I'm not, like I said, I'm not against people coming here to better their life. I got one of my friends that's one of the best contractors I've ever met in my life. He's an immigrant. You know what I mean? That's my guy. You know what I mean? Like, I would be hurt if something, if he had to get deported.
Right.
Right. But people like that, I'm all for that, man. People just come here trying to grind, work. I'm all for that. But still, man, we just gotta vet people as they coming in because we have no idea who you are. You know what I mean? And what your lifestyle was like prior to coming here.
I agree with that. But she says, yeah, but the focus is on Black and brown immigrants. So what's your thoughts on that, though?
I mean, I have no idea, man. I just think that anybody that's coming in, whether if it's Black, brown, white, yellow, blue, we should still, vet whoever's coming in into the community.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
We coming up short on time. So is there anything else that you would like the people to know that you really want to stress out to the people that I wasn't able to ask?
Nah, man. I just want everybody to vote for me. I'm trying to transform Maryland's education. I think a lot of Maryland's problems stems from the education. I think if we correct that, that'll start fixing, a whole plethora of problems, from public safety to, the lack of jobs to, just everything. You know what I mean? I was even saying, like, you got even high school males that get girls pregnant in high school, and that's just a reality.
Right.
And then, but coming out of high school, they'll even be able to provide, for their family.
They'll have resources
they
available.
Have resources available.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm just trying to change, you know, Maryland in that aspect in a big way. I just think that if we fix that, Maryland will get a return on that. I mean, so it'll boom the economy. There'll be a lot more business creation, jobs, families will start staying together. Men will be able to start taking care of their children better, et cetera, et cetera. The resources will be there.
Okay.
Yep. So
yeah, that's absolutely that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, and like I said, I don't like playing a race card, but it still has to be said because a lot of times when we have our African American, our Black politicians, it seems like they sell out to the system. Is there any focus on areas that specifically impact the Black community, which has been systemically put in positions of inferiority throughout the centuries here in America? Are there any plans that you have specifically for the development of the African American community in Maryland?
Yes. I'm saying, just same on the education, man. I'm gonna go ham on education, and especially in our community. Well, man, you know, I just want to see our people thrive. And I know we got it in us. I just feel like the resources just aren't there, and that leads to discouragement. I was telling last time I was speaking, I was telling them, like, you know, a lot of guys get out of high school, and then when you tell them, oh, you got to go back to school again to start making some money, that's discouraging. That's discouraging. A lot of people come out of high school, especially males. You know, they ready to make some money. They ready to get to it. So, you know, I just think that, you know, even in our communities as African Americans, if we just fix that education crisis, I think that the state will start organically fixing itself. So, you know, I tell people all the time, money is always the motivation. So we start, you know, pouring money to our communities, you know, getting people where they can provide for themselves, and you know, it'll change the game. It will change the game. Even when I was building readers, man, I wish I had that information 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Stuff that I know now, I wish I knew it when I was 18.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, if we can get this information to, you know, our youth, you know, they on a high school level, it'll transform the entire state.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. And I know some of the stuff I might say might be out of your power range and control when you get in office. But there are several reformations that I would love to see happen in terms of law and legislature. One is prison reformation. The prison system is not made to actually rehabilitate a person.
Yes,
even though they call it the Department of Corrections, there's no corrections being made.
Facts.
Some men come out being better men, but the way that the system is set up, it's not even set up for them to get a second chance. You get a felony, you won't be able to good job.
Facts.
So you're forced to go out and do what you know how to do, which is 9 times out of 10 illegal, which landed you in jail.
Yes.
And now it repeats the cycle.
Yes.
But when you get into jail, they give you minimum services, resources. Some people do go to jail and get in college programs and stuff like that if they have them available. But then you don't even have stuff like that available either. And like you were saying, I think a lot of it is a money issue. 90% of jails are privately owned. They're not even owned by the state.
Right.
So there are people that are getting money from housing these inmates, which gives people incentives to be incarcerated.
Facts.
Which means that there are a lot of people incarcerated as well that are unjustly there. They're only there because of a dollar bill that the warden and whoever else he made a deal with the judge, 9 times out of 10, they're going to get that money off of it. So prison reformation is one very huge thing.
I agree.
And another thing that is on your policy issue is family.
Yes.
So there are a lot of laws that are old and antiquated.
I agree.
And outdated, especially in terms of family. You know, women now make the same money as men and all that stuff, and the way that the laws are set up is not beneficial to a man, a father, or a husband. They're actually incentivized to get divorces and stuff like that. There's no incentive for the family to
stay together. Correct.
And a lot of times the man pays the downfall of that. And the system and the laws were made by men, silly men at that.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but there are a lot of laws that need to be changed. And another thing, one last thing, is the laws itself. I believe the laws are so important then they should be taught in school.
I agree.
But that's the reason why we need a lawyer. We need somebody to represent us in court because we don't know the laws.
That's right.
But the laws are that important, just like taxes too. You can go to jail for taxes. Law and taxes should be taught in school.
I agree.
We should be able to defend ourselves in court, knowing that we did the right thing and knowing that I can correctly articulate. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to pay $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 for a lawyer, especially when I know I did the right thing.
Correct.
So there are a lot of laws that need to change, and maybe the lawyers won't agree with me because they make money from it. But that's the absolute truth. If it's so important to file your taxes, and it's so important to follow the law because your freedom is on the line,
it should be in the
curriculum. Be taught in school.
I agree.
Absolutely, 100%.
I agree, brother. And since you shared that with me, I'm going to legislate for that. For real, brother.
Honestly,
I agree, man.
Don't lie to me, man.
I'm serious, brother.
Don't lie to me.
Legislate for real. You absolutely correct.
Seriously, I get that
because a lot of stuff that we learn in school doesn't translate over into real life, and then you got kids that go to school, but when they ain't getting real life, they're getting in trouble because they didn't get the training and the education in school, and now they out in the real world, and the two don't translate.
Right.
So you're absolutely right, man. And I'm gonna legislate for that. We definitely should be teaching taxes.
And I appreciate that.
Absolutely, brother.
And as far as the jail reformation goes, the prison reformation, I've seen, I think it was Norway, one of the European countries. Their jails actually look like dorm rooms. They could see outside and stuff like that. They got windows. They just restricted to that area. You can't. That whole area is fenced, heavily guarded, and all that stuff. But the whole area looks like a city. The area itself is like a city. So when you go outside your dorm and stuff like that, it's like coming out your apartment. You go into the street. It's preparing them to be productive citizens when they get back into society. So that's true rehabilitation to me.
True rehabilitation. You're right.
That's what I don't see from the prison system.
1000%.
And I think that heavily needs to change, especially given the fact that a lot of our black males, our black men, are institutionalized at a disproportionate level.
I agree.
At a highly disproportionate level at that.
I agree.
So that's one of the things, and I will continue to fight for that and have a voice. I'm not a politician, but I would love to bring those ideas to politicians, and we sit and we brainstorm. What can we do for the people? How can we serve the people better and put people in a better position to prosper? Because at the end of the day, that's what people want to do. This is the land where they say peace and prosperity. Well, we need to see some peace and we need to see some prosperity, not just selling people a dream. They say it's the American dream because you got to be asleep in order to see it. In order to believe it. But to the woke community, for the people that know there's no 40 acres and a mule, there's no white picket fence, it's paying bills constantly, working to pay y'all student debt loans. This is what we see. So we need practical solutions to everyday problems. And it takes politicians like you guys, the people that have the power to make the decisions. We need y'all to come forward for us.
That's right, man. I got you, brother. And that's why we got to have these conversations, man, because, you know, like I said, man, I'm gonna legislate for that now. That was powerful, bro. That was powerful. And I'm trying to solve as many practical issues as possible. You know what I mean? Like stuff that really translates into our real lives. So like you said, the taxes, you know, the prison reform. Because prison, you're right, it's not preparing people to be back into society.
Matter of fact, when they come out of prison, they lost.
They worse. You know what I mean? So you're right, brother. And I'm gonna add that to the policy platform, and I'm gonna legislate for that.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that actually means a whole lot to me.
I'm serious,
that means more to me than you'll ever know.
Serious, but you'll see it up there. I'm gonna hit my people and tell them, hey man, add this to the legislation list because you're absolutely right, brother. You're absolutely right.
I appreciate that. But it's all praise to the Most High first and foremost. All praise to the Most High. The people, though. I'm a man of the people as well too.
Facts.
Even though I'm not a politician, I serve the people. That's what I do, and I will continue to do that. It makes me feel good knowing that I'm of good service to people, not just any service, but of good service to people. It matters to me. I'm saying, Misty Blue, she said, great show, positive, brother. She said, good luck on your campaign.
Thank you.
I'm not in Baltimore County, so I can't vote, but I will make sure I spread your info to those that can. And that's real important. Appreciate you, Ralph. Appreciate you, Misty Blue.
Thank you so much, Misty Blues. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
That's very important. All support is needed. And any way that we can support you here, we have BMore Pod Studios. Anyway, BMore Pod can support you.
Thank you, brother.
Anyway, BMore4Real podcast can support you.
Thank you.
We are more than happy to use our services to accommodate you because you're serving the people as well.
Thank you, man.
And that's our lane.
Yes, sir.
We got mutual friends. I was telling you about Jackie. She's with us.
Jackie. That's my girl, man.
Sika.
Yeah.
Sika. I hope I'm saying it right.
Sika. Yeah.
She's a wonderful lady, and she's on your campaign.
She's gonna be working on the campaign. She's gonna be working on the campaign.
Shout out, Jackie.
Shout out to you, Jackie. She's gonna be working on the campaign. We connected at one of her events.
Okay.
And you know, and same thing, you know, me and her were just talking about just a lot of issues that's going on in Maryland, you know what I mean? And just, you know, stuff that we can legislate for that are just, you know, benefit the state. And just even moving forward to the future generations, even after us, that will benefit them as well. So we just feel like these legislative changes will not only benefit our lives, but even future generations to come.
Absolutely.
So she's on board, man. So right after the holidays, she's going to start hitting the ground with, you know, a lot of community events. So, you know, we can have these discussions, you know, while having a good time and enjoying each other's company. You know, we can also have these discussions to figure out what do we need to legislate for to change the state in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna pray to the Most High that you definitely win this campaign, because
thank you, sir.
I promise you, we definitely need these type of people in there. I don't like the way they did Marilyn Mosby.
Right.
Shout out Marilyn Mosby. That's my lady.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She's willing to fight for the people, even if she has to persecute her own constituents to do so because they're doing wrong, not because of anything good, but because they're bad. She's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And shout out Marilyn Mosby too. Wish you the best with what she got going on.
Yes, indeed.
But man, I'm gonna pray
Thank
for
you,
your
brother.
campaign.
Thank
anything
Yes,
that
sir.
you need, you're more than welcome.
Same, brother.
If you want to, you can take a look at one of these cameras, give a shout out, let people know where they can follow you and everything, and we can get on up out of here.
Yeah, so everybody follow me. I'm my Instagram is Blackwell4Maryland, Blackwell the number 4 MD, and that's on Instagram. Same thing for Twitter. I try to keep the handle the same so that, you know, everybody can follow me on all platforms. And just please vote for me if you're in Maryland Legislative District 8. Please vote for me. And as I said, you know, I'm not owned by any third parties, any institutions. You know, my platform, you know, will be executed when I get to Annapolis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we appreciate you for stopping by.
Thank you,
Stop
brother.
by anytime.
Yo,
anytime you want.
I will, brother. Thank you for
It's
having
a lovely
me, man.
studio, lovely space.
Oh man, beautiful.
Shout out
studio.
to BMore Pod, man. I want to shout out BMore Pod
BMore
for real.
Pod.
This wouldn't happen
out.
without BMore Pod. Shout out Dennis. Shout out Sandy in the back, man.
Yes,
shout out security, everybody that work here. Shout out CD, man. We appreciate y'all. Y'all do a whole lot behind the scenes that people don't know. It's a whole lot of production. And that's what I was saying too. If you want to support this channel, definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to support, if you want to use the studio, you can go to BMorePod@gmail.com. Again, that is BMorePod@gmail.com. You can rent out the space. You can also hit the BMore Pod Cash App at $pod. Was it Podnet? One of them. Y'all know what it is. Hit that Cash App and support us, because it takes money to keep these things going. This stuff, the lights don't come on for free.
Yes.
The mics don't run for free.
That's right.
None of this stuff run for free. So we all got to pay money for this stuff, and we will hope that you help us, if not with money, but with your time, your likes, and your subscriptions. We appreciate you. This is OMG Danny, BMore4Real, realest conversation on the internet, rated R for reality. Man, we'll catch you guys next time. BMore4Real.